Well, glory to God. Welcome once again to Power of Faith. I'm Pastor Philip Derber with your family of Faith Victory Church right here in the capital city of Frankfort, Kentucky. And just delighted to be able to share with you the truths of God's Word once again. Luke 1:37 says, "For with God nothing shall be impossible." And it is Tremendous Tuesday. And once again, I have in the studio one of my daughters in the faith, Debbie Taylor. Debbie, welcome once again.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Yes. Well, we're glad to have you. And we're going to dive right into this because of time.
Right.
Yesterday, we started out, finding out for the listeners who you are, how you were raised. And you were raised in a very conservative family and farm girl and so on and so forth. But you said something interesting, how that when you went to school, because you lived such a sheltered life, you liked being around other people, but you found mean people.
Right.
And you weren't used to that. And, I discovered things at school that we didn't have going on in our house as well.
Yes.
But you said you were bullied, and picked on, and you tried to internalize that and just try to cope with it, and you never told anybody anything.
Mm-mm.
So yesterday we left off, and again, Revelation 19:10 says the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. And we left off yesterday with you graduating high school. And, I told the listeners yesterday how that you have been delivered from anorexia and bulimia.
Right.
And to look at you then and now, other than the shine in your face from Jesus, you hit it pretty well, huh?
Yeah.
So, all right. After you got out of high school, what does Debbie do?
Debbie gets married.
Okay. Now, how did this happen?
So my brother, he worked at a factory there in Somerset, and he wanted me to meet this guy that he worked with.
And you're how old?
I'm 18.
Okay.
And so I did. And I really wasn't interested as far as that goes, but my brother kept on me and wanted me to go out with him. And I thought, okay, I'll shut him up or whatever. I'll just go out with this guy. Mm-hmm. And they worked together and they had a good working relationship. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I met him, was through my brother. Okay. And so we dated maybe, 6 months or so, and we got married. So growing up, it was kind of understood. You just graduate high school and you get married and you start a family. And like college wasn't in my future as far as what I saw the way I grew up. So I get married. I'm very young. I'm 18. I was raised in a Christian home, like I said earlier, but he was an atheist. And so we get married.
Parents just agreed to it?
Oh yeah, they weren't Christians, and they never were to this day. But so we probably
now hang on here a minute, Deb, because this is pretty stout. That even though you were raised in a hellfire preaching church, which yesterday we concluded we need to hear that there is a hell.
Absolutely.
But we need to hear that there's a heaven too.
Yes.
And that we can have days of heaven on
earth. Yes.
But you marry an atheist.
I marry an atheist. Nothing to do with God at all, ever.
So do you still go to church?
I tried it, but just the stress, the conflict, I just quit. I quit going to church.
Okay.
So it wasn't worth the battle, I guess. Mm-hmm. But within maybe the first year, I get pregnant. So we're beginning to start a family as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just turned in an opposite direction and just didn't go to church.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying about you graduate high school, you get married, you start a family. That was our generation.
It's true.
That's how we were. And so you're doing the normal thing.
Right.
But you've married an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
And so your church life is no longer to try to keep peace, I imagine. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're pregnant.
Right.
And you give birth to a
daughter.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you're a mama.
Yep.
Are you working?
Yep.
What are you doing?
I get on at a company in where I lived, and a major supermarket. It was called Winn-Dixie at the time. And so I get on there in the deli department, and immediately they start putting me into management because of my work ethic.
Sure. On the farm.
On the farm, I just did what they said. And
it's easy too.
And it was easy. I just, okay, you're told to do this, you do it.
Yeah.
And you do it the best you can. And so they saw that pretty quick and began to develop me and want to put me into management. So what happened is they wanted me to be deli manager, but I had to move away from Somerset to Winchester to do that. So it was a promotion. And so my husband at the time was working at the factory that I was telling you about. And so I would be making more money with that promotion than he was making on that job. And so we both agreed to relocate. And so we did. So I was the only one in my family that actually left our hometown.
So you're raising a child. Your husband's an atheist. You're not going to church. And you move and relocate. And now what's going through Debbie's head? I mean, you're raising this precious child. And at the same time, you're not able to talk about Jesus with your husband. Is communication between you and him getting further and further apart?
Yeah. Number one, I wasn't like a partier. I wasn't in that scene. But he liked that kind of a lifestyle. And so there was always, I was very unhappy because I got into something that I didn't know how to get out of, because when I married for life. I was taught, like, whatever you do, you do it with everything.
Right.
And I didn't go into marriage like sometimes in today's society. It's just like, well, if it works out, it's okay. It wasn't like that for me.
Sure.
So,
we were taught that.
Right. So when I get married, I'm married for life. This is it. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with this person. And
you just got to stick it out.
And you stick it out. And I was extremely unhappy. The thing was, it's like, I would always feel convicted, but I just didn't know what to do about it.
And you didn't really know what conviction was.
No, realize I'm 18, 19, I'm young. And so it was a world that I did not grow up in as a child. And I'm starting to see like what the world is really like.
Did you look at yourself and think, how come maybe something's wrong with me that I don't like to party like everybody else?
Sure, because like I said, the way I was, like school and the insecurities, the low self-esteem, not thinking you're good enough and that you have to stay in this and you have to stick it out, regardless of the situation.
Now, what we're going to be getting into pretty heavy, the anorexia and bulimia. Did it start then or no?
No, it started more. There was a lot of.
Did it start in the marriage?
Yeah, because I was very insecure as a wife or as a mother. I was very insecure. But when the divorce happened, that's where I felt like I, as a wife wasn't good enough to keep that marriage. So I went down this path of trying to be this perfect woman.
So let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to, belittle you or anything like that.
Right.
But a lot of women, after they're pregnant, they put on a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
Did that happen to you, and you had a hard problem getting rid of weight?
No.
So that was never.
I was never overweight ever.
Yeah.
Even though I walked through anorexia and bulimia, I actually, in the natural, was never overweight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when I looked in the mirror and saw myself, that was another story.
So you were married how many years before?
12 years.
So you're married 12 years.
I was married 12 years.
So your child is 12.
13.
13 when the divorce happens.
Yep.
Well, now, my goodness, our time, Deb, is just getting away from us.
Right.
So when the divorce happens, you take it on yourself as the reason it failed. There's got to be something wrong with me.
Right. Because I'm married for life.
Right.
I was in it for the long haul.
So did it crush you?
It was devastating.
Did he want the divorce?
We both did.
You both did?
Yeah.
But so it was devastating divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a 13-year-old child.
Yeah.
And now you are, if you were 18 or 19 when you got married, now you're in your early 30s, divorced,
right?
Raising, you're a single parent now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you're about to step into a very dark path of anorexia and bulimia.
Yep.
Some people, they turn to drugs and alcohol for that devastation. You go this route, and all of it will kill you.
That's true.
Right? And I know that my wife chose drugs and alcohol. I did myself. But God is faithful.
Yes, He is.
He'll bring us out.
Yes.
Well,
Thank
on
you,
this
Lord.
tremendous Tuesday, our time has elapsed. And Debbie has wrote a book called Set Free, and it's just a powerful tool. If you know somebody that's struggling with anorexia or bulimia, and she's been delivered from both, and she'll explain as we continue in these sessions what they are and how devastating that can be. And if you want a copy of this, call our office 502-875-7886 and talk to our people there, and you can acquire the book that way, or you can simply go to our website, faithvictorychurch.us. And we thank you. You can scroll down to the bookstore and find it there. Our prayer line is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 502-597-4357. And you can call and get prayer for that. Well, until tomorrow, Pastor Philip and Debbie Taylor, reminding you that Ecclesiastes chapter 8, verse 4 says, where the word of a king is, there's power. You be a blessing.